Hi, good to see you again. Welcome to Block 2, Developing Geometric Reasoning, Lesson 1, your very first lesson in Block 2. I'll share my screen. All right, in today's lesson, you're going to learn to understand and use the sum of angles at a point. Remember to like the video, share the video with those you think can benefit, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the notification bell so that when new videos are released, you'll be notified. By doing so, you do us a huge favor to grow the channel so that children around the world can have access to high quality maths education regardless of their economic situation. Thank you. I would like you to pause the video and answer these retrieval practice questions in 3 minutes to get your mind warmed up ready for maths. Okay, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So for the first one, you were asked to work out 100 plus 110 plus 80. That would sum to be 290. Next, you were asked to find the difference between 360 and 280. Remember, in our earlier lessons, we have learned the meaning of the word difference in maths. It means to subtract. So subtracting 280 from 360 will give you 80. For question 3, you were asked, what type of angle is shown? What does it measure? This is a right angle, and you can see the special symbol mark here for the right angle. It measures 90 degrees. Next, you were asked, 3 people share 360 pounds equally. How much do they each get? They each get 120 pounds. Let's do some new learning for today's lesson. Look at this carefully. Where have you seen a full turn like this before in your life? Well, I'm sure you have seen this on the face of a clock and on your kitchen scale. Interesting, right? So the next thing we need to think about is what happens in terms of the amount of degrees of turn when these hands turn around a point. Well, first, let's identify the point of turn for these lines. So if we were to turn that, you would see that the point of turn is there. If we turn that, you would see that the point of turn is right there. But what is the sum of angles W, X, Y, and Z? Well, I'm sure you know that a full turn is equal to 360 degrees. So angles around a point sum to 360 degrees. So if we knew angles X, Y, angles W, X, Y, and Z, we would get 360 degrees when we sum them. How do we find the missing angle W? We know that the full turn is 360 degrees. So it means when we add 100 plus 110 plus 70, which is equal to 280 degrees, and we add W to it, we should really get 360 degrees. So our equation should look like this. So by now, you know how to solve equation. So when we actually do this, this is what it would look like. All will add up to 360 degrees. So when we do this, we have added this amount to 280 degrees. We know That's using our technique of solving equation, we have to subtract 280 degrees from both sides. That's why we have this. Okay, let's move on. So W is 80 degrees. It's now time for you to practice what you've learned. Pause the video and answer question 1 in 1 minute. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 1, here is the answer. Let's discuss it. So you were asked how many degrees are in a full turn. We have 360 degrees in a full turn. Teddy is facing forward, and you can see the direction there. He turns through 120 degrees. How many more degrees does he need to turn through to get back to his starting point? Well, we know that the angle in a full turn is 360 degrees. So to get the angle, he needs to turn some more to get to his original point. We have to subtract 120 degrees from 360 degrees, and this will give us 240 degrees. Pause the video and answer question 2 in 3 minutes. You can take longer. You don't have to stick to 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So for questions A, B, C, and D, you were asked to find the size of angle X. The answers are already there. I'm just going to write the process or the solution of how we got these answers. So we know, and it's important that you use this to master your equation solving skills. So we know that this will add up to 360 degrees. So we need to do minus 73 on both sides of the equation. So X will be 360 degrees minus 73 degrees. That's how we got this. If we do the same, we're going to have 360 degrees minus 310 degrees. That will give us this answer. For this one, we will do 360 degrees minus 220 degrees, and that will give us that answer. For this one, we would do 201 add 140, which will be 341. So we need to now do 360 degrees minus 341 degrees, which will give us this answer. Here is the answer for E, F, G. So I'm going to rub these off so that we can explore these other ones. So for this one, first we're going to add 120 degrees to 119 degrees. And then whatever we get, we're going to subtract our result from 360 degrees. Okay, so we'll do 360 degrees minus 120 minus 119 degrees. This one, we know this is 90 degrees. So we're going to do 360 degrees minus 90 degrees minus 160 degrees minus 46.5 degrees to give us this answer. For this one, we're going to do 360 degrees. You can see that we have two 90-degree angles marked. 360 degrees minus 90 degrees minus the other 90 degrees minus 86.3 degrees minus 37.2 degrees. And that will give us this answer. Pause the video and answer question 3 in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the question, here is the answer. So we were asked to tick the correct diagram. Well, you can see that the correct diagram is the one in the middle. Why did we choose that? The sum of the angles at a point is equal to 360 degrees. Okay? All right, so that's why you would make that choice. All right, let's do some new learning. If you were asked to calculate the size of angle X, what do you notice about the angles? Well, I'm sure you notice that the angles are all equal. So if the angles all add up to 360 degrees, because a full turn is equal to 360 degrees, then we can form an equation, because remember, if we add x and another x, it should add up to 360 degrees. So again, I want you to use this opportunity to practice your equation solving skills. We know x add x will be 360 degrees. We know that 3x, because x add x is 3x, is equal to 360 degrees. To get x, we need to divide by 3 because we're doing the inverse operation. So if you do not understand what we're doing here, go and watch our lessons where we have learned how to solve equations. And that will give us this result here, which is 120 degrees. It's now time for you to pause the video and answer the rest of the question. Pause the video and answer question 4 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So for question 4A, you were asked to find the value of angles A and B. Well, you can see here that the angles are equal. So we have 360 degrees. If we were to add these, mastering our equation solving skills, we will say A, add A, add A, okay, add another A, and add another A, because there are 5 A's, will be equal to 360 degrees. 5A is equal to 360 degrees. Remember your equation solving skill. You have to divide both sides by 5. A will be equal to 72. Here you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can say 10 B's, because if we add all the B's, we'll have 10 B's is equal to 360 degrees. If we divide both sides by 10, we'll have B being equal to 36. And here is the answer for B and C. So let me rub this off so that we can have space to discuss the other one. So here we have the question. Annie draws a pie chart. She splits it into 16 equal sectors. What is the angle of each sector? Well, you know that 16 sectors, to get each angle is a bit like saying, well, you don't know what each angle is, so we can form an equation. Let's call it 16A, which is the angle, equal to 360 degrees. So the angle we're looking for will be 360 degrees, which is each angle divided by 16. And that will give you that answer. Annie's pie chart represents 800 students. How many students are represented in 5 of these sectors? All right. So if you remember how we divided when we were doing pie charts, how we divided the number of students to get the quantity that we were trying to represent in the pie chart to get that special number, you know that this 800 students represents the 360 degrees. So the 360 degrees represents the 800 students. So what we could do, remember that special number, we're going to take our total number times a special number will give us 360 degrees. So you remember that's what we used to do. We'll take our total, okay? We times it by a special number that gives us 360 degrees. Okay, remember that's what we used to do. So if we want to get that, we can say 800 divided by 360 degrees, or 360 degrees divided by 800. Another way to think about it is to say, well, if each of the sector is 22.5 degrees, here is another way to think about it. We can use proportion to do it instead of using pie chart. So we can say if 16 of the sectors is equal to 800 students, then 5 of the sectors would be 16. 5 of the sectors would be, or we can divide by 16. So one way is to divide by 16. So we divide by 16 first. Sorry. To get 1, what one sector will represent. So that's another way of doing it. So we divide by 16. That will be 1. So 800 divided by 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 800 divided by 4 will be 200. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 200 divided by 4 is 50. So to get one sector is equal to 50 students, represents 50 students. So 5 of the sectors would be 250 students. You can also use the pie chart method to do this, but I prefer this one, okay? Using proportion to do it. Pause the video and answer questions 5 and 6 in 4 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered questions 5 and 6, here are the answers. So here you were asked to work out the sizes of the unknown angles. Well, to work out the sizes of the unknown angles, you can see that there are 2 equal angles C. So whatever we have left, we have to split it by 2 because we have equal angles C. So step 1, you have to do 360 degrees minus 230 degrees. And then whatever you have left, you have to divide by 2. Okay, so you do that one first, and then when you finish, you divide by 2, and that will give you C. This one, you'll have to do 360 degrees minus 122 degrees minus 47 degrees minus 75 degrees, and whatever you have left, you have to divide by 2 because you have 2F. Remember, the reason we're doing this is if we had to form our equation, it would be 2F, add all these angles, so 122 degrees, add 47 degrees, add 75 degrees, which will be equal to 360 degrees. And of course, you know how to solve equations like this. So when you add these up, you have to subtract the total of these from both sides, and then finally you divide by 2. This one, we have 3z, and we have this angle to be 90 degrees. So when we finish doing this, we'll form this equation, because these two will add up to this quantity here. So we have 3z at this equal to 360 degrees. Our final step will be to subtract 172.8 degrees from both sides. That now leaves us with a quantity, whatever quantity we get. So we'll have 3z equal to 360 degrees minus 172.5 degrees, and then whatever we have left, we divide by 3. So we're going to have to divide both sides by 3. So this is to divide by 3. Let's rub that off. Pause the video and answer question 7 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 7, here are the answers. So here is the answer. Here you were asked, 4 line segments are drawn from a point O. There are OP, OQ, OR, and OS. P, Q, R, and S are points drawn clockwise in order round O. Angle SQR is 91. Angle PQR is 26 degrees more than angle XQR. So let's start. When you're reading questions like this, you need to start adding things up or writing key information down. So this angle here is 26 more than SQR. So this angle is 91 plus 26. Angle QOR is a right angle, so we know this is 90 degrees. 4 children have worked out the size of angle SOP. Who is correct? Of course, that is the person that is correct. So you know that what you should be doing is 360 degrees minus 91 degrees minus 91, add this. So that would be 7. That would be 11. So 117 degrees. Okay. Minus 90 degrees. So when you finish all this subtraction, you should get this answer. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. So well done for sticking around and for learning how to use the knowledge of angles at a point being equal to 360 degrees to answer some questions in maths, to build your knowledge in maths. Until next time, take really good care of yourself, and bye-bye.